and you don't care how it fits. But for me, it was, outside of it, if we took all the logos off, that you could appreciate it for what it was. So in terms of starting a brand, there's a lot of different ways you can go. You can source your blanks and work with printing companies. You can go overseas. You can start from scratch. Most people don't want to start from scratch. I liked it. I thought it was a challenge, and you're going to learn along the way. I mean, I'm sure every brand that I've mentioned here and every artist or every clothing designer can tell you more about the losses and the things that went wrong than about the good things, because you learn from all those things that you didn't intend to happen, where your design didn't turn out right, or your collection went wrong, or the shipping was incorrect and caused a big ordeal, or the sizing was wrong, and now what do you do with all this inventory? So I love when other people come to ask me about clothing brands, because there's so many different niches and so many different ways to design clothing. So even when it's a streetwear brand, like I said, I like working with other artists and creatives, and to me, it's not about competition. It's about building the streetwear industry, and that passion for that kind of style. So like I said, I get hit up all the time about other people trying to start brands, but there's a couple different ways to go about it. It's really, I think, on that person as a creative of what do they like most about the creative process? Is it the graphic? Is it the actual creation of clothes? I think it's more about the whole piece in general, and working at every single piece, and not just putting a logo on stuff. But I'm sure others will tell you otherwise.
Yeah, no, I get it. And you mentioned a couple of things kind of going into, our next question. What do you think is the hardest part of the process? I mean, I guess you talked about, sizing difficulties and shipping difficulties and this and that. I mean, and it doesn't have to necessarily be one thing. I'm sure it's, very difficult to get from, A to Z, but, can you kind of give some insight on some of the more difficult areas?
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many things along the way that you learn, right? When I talked about,
I figured that's a loaded question.
Yeah, about how we started, right? In the beginning, when you start a brand, you have the creative elements, right? It's learning those infrastructures that you're going to use. You have knowledge in Photoshop and, Illustrator, the design tools, right? If you're going to start a brand and you don't know that, that's going to be a hurdle right there, right? So you have that from the design elements. Obviously, if it's about resources, right? Where are you sourcing your garments from, your fabrics, your materials? That's the one thing that you'll see that's the secret sauce, right? I may help you in those things, but that's kind of a coveted thing, is who's producing your clothing, right? The funny thing is, what a lot of people don't know is a lot of the top brands are actually all producing from the same manufacturers. They all kind of work very closely in the same buildings. You wouldn't know that. For me, being able to trust manufacturers, to hit timelines, there's a lot just there that we could spend probably hours on, of, making sure that you understand what you're trying to give them. I mean, if you give them, hey, I want this shirt, and you give them basic kind of instructions, you're going to get a lot of room for error, right? What I've learned over the years in that aspect is, when you think it should be done a certain way and it comes back the wrong way, you learn really quick. I need to tell them this detail here and lock this in and make sure that's correct. And you basically refine your product over time, of making sure I tell them this, making sure I lock in that, making sure this is done a certain way. It's kind of like, if you get in a car, you don't just turn on the car and you go. You turn on the car, you close the door, you buckle your seatbelt. You learn that along the way. So for me, that's an element right there. Then you have, your sales elements of how do you get your brand out there? How do you market your brand? There's a lot of different, things you can learn, where, how do you meet minimums? We could sit here and probably ask so many questions. For me, some of the things that I've learned along the way is, you have a great concept and maybe the manufacturer's not right, and you have it great. You've done all your tech packs. Everything looks perfect, and you get it, and it's not what you perceive. And you go, well, I can't sell this. So now I have inventory for hundreds of products that I can't sell either at that price point or not at all, because a mistake has been made. So you learn there how to, how do I rebound from this? How do I find more capital to do the next thing? How do I learn from that mistake to do the next big order, right? I can't have this happen again. There's so many different things about, like I said, learning from your
trial and
mistake.
error. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like trial and error where you gotta. I mean, it seems like there's some basic skills that you should learn, with the Illustrator and the Photoshop and things like that. But at the end of the day, it sounds like you just gotta almost get your hands dirty and figure it out a little to an extent.
Absolutely, it's 100%. You can't learn that in school. It's everything that I've learned from here is from building those relationships, the connections, and doing it along the way, and the process along the way, and learning from your mistakes and learning from what worked and going from there.
Yeah, no, I get exactly what you're saying. So, we'll kind of wrap up a little bit. I mean, this has been an incredible insight, and thank you again so much for taking the time. Where do you see Hollywood Hamilton in the future? Where do you see the brand?
Man, that's a great question.
Hey,
like I said,
you were prepared for the hard ones. I told you, man, there was going to be some curveballs.
And that's the thing, you have, you ever hear the quotes like, if your dreams don't scare you, you're not dreaming, big enough. For me, like I said, I think the one next stepping stone is a store. I have a couple ideas of properties and type of place, and building that overall vision in the interim. There's a lot of different ways. Like I said, some of the stuff that outside of clothing, I'm a business guy. I like investing in real estate, and I like the design and the aesthetics. I would love to incorporate more HH into home products and things like that. To be able to be not just about the clothing, but it's lifestyle. You know what I mean? It's not just about what the clothes you wear. It's the art that you hang on the walls. It's the couch that you have in your living room. To me, I like I'm learning more about the art aspect, and I think everyone has their areas where they grow and what they want to contribute more to their own progression. But for the brand, I want to do bigger collections, and this upcoming spring collection is the biggest collection to date. So it's really cool to see how we've kind of evolved even in this last, say, 18 months, where we are from there to now. Bigger collections, more products. I would love to get into a larger array of products. Like we've experimented with the home decor, like I said, with the carpets and tables and stuff like that. So we'll see. I think in that 5-10 years, I think a store would be that really big piece of the puzzle to kind of solidify it for Tampa in our local presence. And really, you'll see our website kind of evolve over the years. I mean, we just did the car, the R8, wrapped it in that. And it's about building that lifestyle brand. So we're going to continue to keep building a lifestyle around it.
That's great. Yeah, no, it's interesting to hear the home good elements. I mean, that's so different compared to a lot of other brands, because it seems like, it goes to say you do what to an extent, but if you don't push yourself and push those limits, and you're never going to really know what you're capable of. So I think that's really interesting, and I'm excited for you. And certainly, last but not least, we have to ask, where can people find you? What is the Instagram handle? What is the website? Where can people purchase and follow what you're doing?
Sure. HollywoodHamiltonClothing.com. It's our official website. Have our official online store. Our Instagram handle is Hollywood Hamilton Clothing. You can find us in select retailers here in the St. Pete and Tampa area. So check those out. We'll have them up on the website as well. And don't ever hesitate to shoot us a message on any of our socials. We got TikTok too. It's Hollywood Hamilton. I know all the young kids do that nowadays, but we'll be on there as well. We're not big into Twitter, so you can't find us there.
You were worried about dating yourself. You just absolutely dated yourself when you said TikTok for all the youngsters out there.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I don't get it either. I'm not very coordinated, so you won't see me doing any dances.
Hey, you won't see me doing any dances as well, but we could probably do some cool transitions with some fits, that's for sure. But yeah, HollywoodHamiltonClothing.com. That's got all of our stuff there, and Hollywood Hamilton Clothing on Instagram.
Awesome. So when can we expect the new season?
New season for spring is going to be dropping mid-February, early March.
Okay.
We just dropped our first collection of some of the women's pieces here for winter. We got more stuff for the men's side, like I said, coming spring. You can expect new hoodies, new extended tees, new hats, new regular roll cuff tees. Like I said, biggest collection to date. So really excited for what we have coming out, and excited to show you guys the what's up, Hollywood Hamilton sleeves.
That's awesome. Great to hear. Thank you again for taking the time. This is Kevin Sullivan from the Kevin Chronicles. You can go and follow me at the Kevin Chronicles. Any questions, always feel free to send us a message. If you want to get in contact with George, I'm going to go ahead and link your website as well as your Instagram in the description of the video. So make sure that you continue to follow him, support him. He's doing amazing things for Tampa and the industry. So thank you again. We're going to go ahead and sign off, and we will see you guys for episode 3. Have a great evening, great day, wherever you're at. Thank you again for watching. See you later, George.
Hey, thanks for having me, Kev.
See ya.